two per year now. Stop being annoyed and start doing something about it. Helen had one running the email, so we went for the black hat or the street.
This is the August meeting of the Virginia-Highland Board of Directors. We're in order at 7:02. Present are board members Wolfson, Carlisle, Ferraro, Frederick Wilkes, Fairlake, I'm second one. Frazier, Mr. DeWarad, Ms. Forshler, Dashorn, and Mr. Wolfinger. May I have a motion to adopt the agenda, which I don't seem to have a copy of in front of me. Oh, I mean, there it is. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? It is, may I actually make the following amendment? I would like permission to go just gently out of order to accommodate a conflict with another meeting for one applicant after Officer Moore reports. Is that acceptable to everyone?
Sure.
Thanks. Do we have any minutes for approval? Did we get them out to everybody or did we not?
They did not. They weren't sent by email.
I apologize. They were not sent by email. I'll be glad to circulate them later if the board would rather do that. I'll be happy to do that. We would prefer that. We'll then go on to Officer Moore from Zone 6. Sir, the floor is yours.
Officer Moore, Zone 6. Sorry, I'm not your beat officer. I'm actually across the street, across Moore. You couldn't be here today, so I'm going to take his place. For the week, we have 146 arrests. For the month, 684. Year to date, 4,319. Crime is actually projected to go down 15% just because school is out. I'm sorry, school is in. So we're actually glad about that. The main problems that we've been having, I want to say in the whole of Zone 6 is going to be the larcenies from vehicles. Normally you have vehicles with the windows down or the doors unlocked with cell phones, laptops, purses, backpacks, or even loose change. That's been the main thing. You know, if we could just tighten up, I guess, as a community, as far as anything of value, put those out of sight, in your trunks. Lately we've been having a lot less carjacking, car thefts. We've been having, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Baycar, but is anybody familiar with Baycar? Okay, well, for the people that are not familiar with Baycar is it's going to be a police vehicle, but it's unmarked, and they put valuables inside of the vehicle just to try to get the criminals to steal the vehicle or take something from the vehicle. Baycar was out, I want to say, for just 1 week just to see how it would do in Zone 6. And for the first 3 days, we caught 3 perpetrators breaking into vehicles, and they down in jail.
Great idea.
Cell phones. If a child says, I'm lost, and they want to use your cell phone, don't give it to them, because what the kids are normally doing is they're asking to call their parents, and they're snatching the phones and running. So that's the main thing. I don't know if you're familiar with, it was an 86-70, the 86-year-old woman at Publix across the street, and she was robbed at knife point. Now the good thing about that was we had the air unit, we had the K9s, the guy was running up and down, freedom, you know, we were able to apprehend them, so we're glad about that. Anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Was a motorcyclist killed at North Highland Avenue in Amsterdam?
Today?
No, this was Friday.
Yes, it was in the newspaper.
His Friday night and subsequently died the following day.
I'm sorry.
Questions for the officer?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just gonna, this is my second meeting ever, and I don't mean to overstep bounds, but I'm here for pretty much one reason. The taxi cabs that park on the yellow curb at the corner of Greenwood and Highlands, they block your vantage point from turning left. And the cops on occasion, extremely rarely, will kick them out. And then they'll park on the yellow curb at Highlands and Briarcliff Place, which again, they block your vantage point from turning left. Is there anything we can do to get the police officers to start enforcing that those taxi cabs cannot park there? Because it's extremely dangerous to turn left blindly when you're nodding your head. She knows what I'm talking about. And I make that turn at least twice a day, and in the daytime there's no problem, but at night when all the cabs are there, it's very extremely.
Officer Moore, can you make that report? And if you'll give us your name and address, we'll make sure that Mr. Wolfinger will follow it up, and we will too, to make sure it gets, we'll back up Officer Moore's report of it and see if we can get.
Okay.
And it's a good way to do it. You told him, and we'll get it going.
I'm sorry that I don't know the protocol and I've never been here,
Protocol's
but
fine, it's
there's.
fine. We just want to do two things, so that it's not just anecdotes where a lot of great stuff starts, and that's, you've done fine. So
Thank you.
we will take it on to the next stage past that.
Okay.
But can you make sure you give us, or give John?
This is
your-
John. You're John. Hi, John. I appreciate it.
Can you do that, and John will give it to all of us, and we'll follow it up in a written fashion to reinforce whatever Officer Moore says.
Okay, yeah, what I'm about to say. Okay, taxi cabs, that's going to be vehicles for hire. Vehicles for hire, they actually have their own police department, which is still Atlanta Police Department. They enforce the codes of all the taxi cabs. They have specialized training dealing with cabs and limos, and they strictly all day, 24/7, they enforce all the codes of limo drivers. So
Although, Officer Moore, I'm correct in saying that if there's a violation of the law,
yes.
you don't let it go on the basis
No.
of. So if there's
You're right.
if the citizen is correct in their observation and report, and there's a violation of the law, any officer could speak to them and ask them to correct that violation at minimum, correct?
You're right, but the thing that I'm trying to tell you guys is, it's going to be taxi cab vehicles for hire.
We'll follow up, sir. We really will. That's a good point. John, can you take care of that?
Through Miss Berg, who is the traffic and transportation
And it's not here,
person.
but I want to, let's be sure to
Yeah.
get your name and contact info, and you'll get copies of some of this.
All right, thank
You'll
you.
see either progress or our lack thereof. You will get to observe it.
We'll hope for progress.
We will hope for that, and we often do get it. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. Good luck to you every day. Every day.
Thanks for coming.
We're going to move slightly out of order to accommodate a planning applicant whose architect has to be at another meeting shortly. Did the same. Mr. Arnold, we're going to call, turn it over to Ms. Ferraro for B12-119.
Right. This relates to an application. It's 988 Linear Boulevard, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but what they're doing is they are building a second-floor addition in the existing attic, not changing the footprint, and they are tearing down an existing one-car garage to build a two-car garage with an office space above it.
No office space.
Oh, no, they deleted the office space, okay. So there will be no tree disturbance. We attended the site, and there's no runoff issues as well. And 43% lot coverage, did that change? I know we went back and forth with numbers.
48.
48% lot coverage, but it's still well beneath the 50%. So based upon those issues, everybody at the planning committee recommended approval unanimously, but I'll let Mark give you more details.
Okay, and thank you for letting me go out of order. I'll be at Morningside in 20 minutes. Okay, it was a great summary. This is the existing survey. It's the existing house there. The word existing house. This is the existing one-car garage. It's a foot from the rear property line, and it's just about a foot and a half from the side property line. And there's a handful of volunteer trees that have grown up on the property line, an 8-inch and 2 14-inch hardwoods. And the rear, there's 12 and a 6. The house is 4.7 feet from the property line. So there's 2.3 feet in the attic that will be in the existing setback. Not changing the roof line, just want to build out that existing attic in that area. So that necessitates the variance on the house. On the garage plan is to build a 22-foot wide by 24-foot garage. And actually, we're going to move it over so it's actually 7 feet from the side property line. But first, when the variance was filed, the drawings had it closer, but in order to preserve the 2 14-inch trees and the 8-inch hardwood, we're going to move it 7 feet. And actually, from the rear, where it's now a foot from the rear, we're going to move it so it's 4 feet from the rear. And again, that's for maintenance and also to preserve the tree E, which is the 12-inch hardwood. The trees are impacted slightly, a little different from what you said, because this is the tree inventory, and 2 of them were impacted right about 25%. So according to the city's tree preservation code, that it will require a prescription, which is it's taking an arborist to write the prescription for steroids or something, to making sure the trees are healthy. The applicant actually is Jack Zampel. He's a contractor. I will be doing the drawings and have done just the first round, which was probably the final round. It's a very simple 2-car garage, a hip roof, 5 and 12 pitch. The height's 13.1 feet, and then, again 22 by 24. But Jack's taken the legwork on the variance. He's sorry he's not here tonight. He has a fever. He wouldn't want him here. He has sent letters to the neighbors, most of which are Mr. Witt. I think he backs up to 2 of your properties. So he sent letters to have the proof of mailings from the letters, but he doesn't have signed letters yet. But he has reached out to all the neighbors.
Any questions from Mr. Wilkins? Sir?
The address again, please.
The address is 988 Lanier Boulevard.
988.
It was Charles Throckmorton. He's lived there 30 some odd years, and he and his wife were heading up to the mountains.
Just recently been sold, right?
So last week, I think.
Any questions from the board or anyone else?
I live across the street and I take exception. I think zoning laws are well thought out and well designed, and I think most property owners buy property thinking that we respect those zoning rules. And in my understanding, there's 2 exceptions when you get a zoning variance. One is in which something post-Andy, a minor violation is discovered and can't be remedied cost effectively. The second one is if there's no alternative solution for where to place it. Neither one of those are applicable in this instant case. And I sit right across the street, and I don't know why we don't enforce the zoning law.
I'm sorry.
He has sent a letter. I have received a letter. I've seen no designs on the house. I have seen one on the garage, and that's it.
Can I, just for the record, I want to get your full name.
Charles Brian, B-R-Y-A-N,
Yes, sir.
Adams, A-D-A-M-S, 1063, Virginia Avenue Northeast, 30306. And the neighbor directly next to me, which again looks straight across at that, they are out of town in Italy. We've had discussed it with them. They got their letter the day they were leaving. They, I think, concur with mine.
Well, we're going to let you speak for yourself and them speak for themselves.
Okay, well, I'm telling you where they are. They aren't here. They can't speak for themselves tonight. I'm just telling you to reserve them to be able to speak for themselves.
Mr. Arnold, do you have any comments based on Mr. Adams' statement?
Well, there are 4 criteria, and one of them has to do with lot configuration.
Explain to me why I can't sit, remember.
Sir, I'm going to let you, if you will, we'd like him to finish responding. I wouldn't let him interrupt you, and I don't want him to respond as well.
Well, I'm not sure where you're going, but we're actually taking an existing nonconformity and decreasing it. We're taking the foot and a half on the side and actually conforming on the side yard setback, so it's going to be 7 feet. We're taking the foot at the rear of the property line, we're pushing it up 4 feet, so they're actually, that puts the garage and any water from the roof on Mr. Zampel's property. But it does, it is still a variance, reducing the rear yard setback from 15 feet to 4 feet. And that's, does it meet those criteria? Probably not. It's really the best use of the lot and to allow him and his wife and young child some enjoyment of the backyard instead of eating up all the backyard with the garage. I guess one alternative is don't build a 2-car garage. And maybe that's the solution, but he bought the house and he would like to build a 2-car garage and is going through the motions of